Okay, so I keep hearing it left and right. The death cross, the death cross, the death cross. Guys, that happens when the SMA 50 crosses below the SMA 200 moving averages. It is a historic, it's and traditional strategy, a bearish strategy, and one that does have specific criteria. And I'd like to talk to you about that here, and I'd like to kind of close the ends on that criteria or that strategy for once and I guess once and for all, right? But before we do that, please do me the favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, do everything necessary to get this thing to live long, thrive, and survive. My name is Arca, coming at you here at 9:17 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday, November 13th. Spot price action for XRP specifically is sitting at 228.65. And what we're going to talk about here first, guys, before we get the price action figured for XRP, is that dreaded formation, right? The strategy itself. Okay, so if you were in the trading team, or if you are in a trading team, I'm not sure if it was actually this morning or just last night, I explained the criteria that we would need. I explained criteria that I discovered for a downside specific to BTC. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that chart now. And this is what it is here. So this is, it is essential to determine what we're going to talk about here. So I need you guys to please pay close attention here, because this will solidify a lot of information, and you won't fall for a lot of trickery out in the market, right? No fear mongering, none of that stuff. Okay. So this is what we're looking at here, guys. This is the resistance that I put together from, I think it was last night's thread of analysis. We got that upside. Right? Got that resistance right up in this area here. And now we're continuing to the downside from these areas of resistance, right? So the take profit target is a target that I'd like for you to remember. And know that what I looked at here, remember that this target right at the bottom here, right, 91 to around 88,000, these targets were set before I just kind of said it here. I was talking to my buddy, Captain Kelly, and he mentioned to me the death cross, and I said, you know what, that does it. Let me just go ahead and take a look at it and see if I can't get it to give us some validity, right? So I have essentially done that here. Okay, guys, so I want you to focus your attention now on the daily time frame specifically. Okay, guys, the daily time frame is where your death cross traditionally happens. So let's go ahead and just get that kind of looked at here. And this is what everyone is talking about here, guys. Okay, everybody is talking about your SMA 50 crossing below the SMA 200. Yes, that is a death cross. It is, in fact, a death cross, and one that has a specific invalidation, though. Now, how could that be? This is where I'd like to show you this page here. Okay, so if we just go, you know what? I'm not going to say it from my words, because I just like to, I did a quick little search on Google just so that you know this, right? But this is what I teach my students, right? So the downward slope, right? Here we go. Downward slope of moving averages for a strong signal. The 50-day moving average should have a clear downward slope as it crosses the 200-day, right, guys? So, and both averages should begin to expand that distance, right? So if we can have these moving averages slope to the downside, that would be a little better. Now, mind you, the way that you can actually get this to better validate is to have both of them on a downward trend. Now, this is not exactly the best downward trend in the world, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at that SMA 200 and look at what that SMA 50 looks like. This is your 200 here, and this is your 50. So we have an upward trend on the SMA 200, and we definitely have the downward trend on the SMA 50. So yeah, these things are said to be a very bearish thing happening here. So here's what I can show you. And the other thing that many people aren't really disclosing, we should backtest things, guys. Look at this. The last time this happened was set in a very similar criteria. Here's your 200, right? Upward, right? And this is your SMA 50. Oop, we got a death cross right there, just like we're about to get right here with that upward trend, right? Upward trend crossing below, right? And then boom, price action completely ignores the SMA 200 and the SMA 50 in their supposed death cross, right? And that's the criteria not meeting. Okay, so now what about before this situation, which happened here on April 6th of 2025? What about over here? What about here? And yet again, look at that. This is another example right here of the upward trend SMA 200 and the downward trend SMA 50. So we get this crossover here. We kind of hang around for a little bit here, and then boom, price action completely ignores that death cross, right, guys? So this is kind of like what I wanted to show you. And, you know, historically speaking, you can just go ahead and test them for yourself, right? But what's and I'd like to point out how this I'd like to point out the way that price action is moving here. Okay, guys, so I just, you know, look at it for yourself, right? We have this corrective pivot like this, right? Before we get that massive burst to the upside, and it seems to be pretty much, I mean, I'm not going to say that they're the same, but they appear to have these like troughs like that, right? The higher trough in the middle and all that good stuff before that massive correction continues. So this to me, guys, is a gigantic bear trap. And how can I tell that it's a bear trap though? Here is the next criteria to look at. So let's go ahead and further the information here, guys, and take a look at this fact on the monthly time frame. Monthly time frame, let's see, I think I'm going to show you the bi-monthly, I think. Yes, the bi-monthly. Sorry about that. So the bi-monthly time frame, right, we just opened around, like 12 days ago, 13 days ago. And if I can identify anything here, is that there is the use of the EMA 9, right? This is your 9 exponential moving average. And here are your last times that it happened, right? When you got that false breakdown of the SMA 200 death cross with the SMA 50. Well, you got rejection, you got rejection, you got rejection. And what is this one about to do? And also, it does still appear to have an upside bias. So the target that this appears to be most valid at is somewhere around the target of around $91,200 or $91,134, which is very, very reminiscent. Or in fact, what is the target here, man? What does it actually say? Is that 91,175-ish, which could lead us to either, you know, higher or lower, whatever that is. It could be 50% of this bar here, maybe at around that 88,000. Why does that sound familiar? Well, that's because the Head and Shoulders already gave us those targets, 91,001 to 88,005 or 91,002, right? So that's pretty much where we're sitting on the EMA 9 that has been historic for rejecting price action from continuing to any downside, just as you see right here. Bam. So the target that I expect is now confluent with your bi-monthly EMA 9 and also your Head and Shoulders formation. Right, guys? So that's, yeah, we can experience some pain here. All good, right? All good. These things happen. We kind of knew that there would be some of this pain coming into the markets. So all good in the hood, right, guys? So in this case, your daily ATR low for BTC is currently giving us a 95,005, which just shows you that we kind of almost bounced from that, right? So this would be an effort of maybe around 2 days. And I mean, noted, right? This candle here just opened around 6 hours ago. So fair enough, guys. I just wanted to get that out of the way and express to you my thoughts over what that could what that could do. So now I'm just going to do this here quickly for you, right, guys? Because Ethereum is also being affected by this, right? And Ethereum, it has its own downside criteria too. Why don't we just get that out of the way here real quick and see what's up? But yeah, guys, please remember that the beginners mentorship program is going to be starting here in, very, very shortly. So I need you guys to claim your seats before they're all out. And I do have that special for 9 weeks, $100. It doesn't get any better than that, and it will be live with me, okay, guys? So your hard target on this would be a 30, 55, 58. At the bottom side, of course, psychological targets are favoring roughly around 30, 32. Let's just zoom out a little bit, right, and see that there could be, I guess, even a tighter pocket than that, guys. It could actually be just around 3,970, right, before we experience any kind of a bounce. This is a soft resistance, guys. That's very close proximity. We'll come back and validate resistances at 3178 before making our merry way down towards these supports here. This is really what I think that Ethereum should be benefiting on. This right up here, guys. That could be the bottom side of around 2914 at actually, oh, I see it. Right. There it is. 2943.96 to roughly about that 2914.46. Liquid targets. There's certainly a few in here, guys. So that I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of point them out. There's one at 28.63. And certainly another one right below at 27.92. Okay, so now XRP, considering that, I can actually see already what it's doing, right? So this is a formation itself, right? It's kind of bear flaggy. It has a huge head and shoulders here, but I don't think that's going to be the one to really play out. I believe actually that this is performing an ascending channel, right? But the ascending channel does have specific criteria. This breakdown here and the retest like this is the retest of regression. So I'm actually kind of looking at something like this here, right? So this, I think, is what we're currently sitting on, right? This is your your test up and down, your ABCD strategy. This is your 50% rejection here. We have a larger time frame head and shoulders alongside a smaller time frame head and shoulders formation right about here too. So we do have staggering targets on this, and this could lead to what I believe is just around the target of, let's go ahead and get that for you real fast here. Just about the bottom side of, sure, 205.56, and this is a target that 206.09 to 205.56. This is a target that we spoke of just a few days ago, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. About a week ago. Yeah, we talked about the potentials of touching down to these targets here for an upside, right? So I think this could be the equivalence. And I will say that this needs a liquidity bottom too, though. Okay, guys, and those liquidity bottoms are a bit distant, and they do show some credibility here. Okay, guys, your 196 to around 190 bottom, particularly highlighting a 194 area, could be your lowest zone, and all thanks to the whatever that housing thing was, right, guys? So yeah, that's currently what I'm looking at for your formation here, guys. And should it be that we need to take into consideration your head and shoulders for a downside take profit target, let's go ahead and get that price objective, right? So it would be something like this here as a neckline. We'll take this here to get the price objective, put it to the center of that shoulder, and this is actually giving us a very similar target from this formation here, the head and shoulders. So, and we have local, yeah, there's a dead cat bounce here as well, right? So that dead cat bounce leads to a target of roughly about this here. Okay, short-term bounces, guys, should you need to know where they are, this is your short-term trade and short-term take profit for your momentum short players. Okay, guys, they would be taking profit here at 219.11 to 221.52, where price action would likely come right back up and start validating your supports at around 225.74 before continuation to the downside, of which then we would start to try to validate this 206.79 for potential entries. The zone for that 206.79 is 203.99. So I think this is a pretty good place to leave off, and should there be any questions or concerns, please reach out to me at arcabulls@gmail.com and everything will be cool. But yeah, guys, I think yeah, that's about it there. All right, guys, adios and adios. Please take anything that I do say within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Ever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well. A very good rest of your night and or day. And I will catch you at the Bell Manana. Adios, team. Oh, yeah.